President Trump seems to be having a pretty bad day. Earlier this morning, Michael Cohen, his fixer and personal lawyer, pleaded guilty to lying to Congress about Trump's dealings with the Russians while he was running for president. Apparently, they wanted to do Trump Tower Russia, which would have ended up putting a lot of money into Donald Trump's pockets. So this was during not only the campaign, but after he had won as president, still trying to do this deal where the Russians would pay off essentially Donald Trump. Now, of course, when the news broke, Trump was not happy at all, and he decided to lash out to reporters against Michael Cohen. Watch.
So Michael Cohen has made many statements to the House, as I understand it, and the Senate. He put out a statement talking about a project which was essentially, I guess, more or less of an option that we were looking at in Moscow. Everybody knew about it. It was written about in newspapers. It was a well-known project. It was during the early part of 16, and I guess even before that. It lasted a short period of time. I didn't do the project. I decided not to do the project, so I didn't do it. So we're not talking about doing a project. We're talking about not doing a project. Michael Cohen, what he's doing is he was convicted, I guess. You'll have to put it into legal terms. But he was convicted with a fairly long-term sentence on things totally unrelated to the Trump organization, having to do with mortgages and having to do with cheating the IRS, perhaps, a lot of different things. I don't know exactly, but he was convicted of various things unrelated to us. He was given a fairly long jail sentence, and he's a weak person. And by being weak, unlike other people that you watch, he's a weak person, and what he's trying to do is get a reduced sentence. So he's lying about a project that everybody knew about. I mean, we were very open with it. We were thinking about building a building. I guess we had in a form, it was an option. I don't know what you'd call it. I decided ultimately not to do it. There would have been nothing wrong if I did do it. If I did do it, there would have been nothing wrong. That was my business. So he's lying very simply to get a reduced sentence, okay?
There is so much in that. Holy crap. So I love when he says, well, even if I would have done it, there would have been nothing wrong. No, getting money from a foreign government while you're the president of the United States, while you're running for president of the United States, is not a good thing, right? So that is, of course, corruption 101. People generally frown on that sort of corruption because, again, this is worse than just the normal systemic corruption, right? This is actually a president saying, well, I'm going to take money from another foreign country. And then, of course, what's going to happen when they ask for favors back for that money? Because money isn't just given free. Like, I talk about campaign contributions all the time, right? So when you give campaign contributions, when a corporation funds a candidate, that candidate essentially listens to the corporation, or else they're not going to get any money anymore, right? Trump's pretty much the same way. This is legal bribery. Or, I'm sorry, not legal bribery. That's legal bribery. This is illegal bribery. What did they want to do? They wanted to get rid of the Magnitsky Act. That's what the Russians would get out of any sort of deal with Donald Trump becoming president. And what would Trump get? He'd get $40 million put in his pocket. That's what would happen. Again, Trump Tower Russia, all they would do is Russians would build a building and Trump would license his name out. And then he would get paid millions of dollars. And then the Russians would come back and say, hey, you remember that fantastic deal that we did on Trump Tower? Remember how rich you got, how much money you got from that deal? Well, we would need something. We would like to get rid of the Magnitsky Act. Oh boy. So again, I love that. I love that he's calling Cohen weak for essentially telling the truth. Saying what actually happened. Saying that, yes, I did lie. I did lie to Congress about this because guess what? I didn't want to actually have the investigation go and look more closely into that because guess what they would find? I have a guess what they would find. But no. He said, look, according to the Washington Post, more information here. Prosecutors emphasized this morning how Cohen had talked with Trump himself about the project. So he knew about the project. He ordered it. He said, yes, do this. Reach out to Putin, right? Which Cohen did. Cohen reached out to Putin's spokesperson, talked to him, got a response, and they were setting up future meetings. But he says, oh, but you know what? We didn't actually do this, so not in trouble. You're still conspiring with a foreign country to take money. And of course, again, you know that they would want something in return. So, look, here's the thing. Trump is furious because of this. You saw him. He calls people weak. He's calling Cohen weak for actually talking to law enforcement. Now, how crazy is that, right? Oh, he's flipping. He's saying things that aren't true in order to get a reduced sentence, and it has nothing to do with me. But it has everything to do with you, because he was actually talking about is lying to Congress on your order. But he hates when people flip, right? And flipping is nothing more than talking to law enforcement. So he's saying, I don't care about law and order. I don't care about rule of law. I don't care about the law at all. I hate when people cooperate with law enforcement. Oh, I can't stand it. But you know what I love? I love it when people like Paul Manafort lie about flipping and then secretly coordinate with my lawyers in order to derail the investigation. That's what Donald Trump loves. He loves undermining a law enforcement investigation. I wonder why that is. This is not something that innocent people do. So it is very clear that Trump, right now, because of this, is backed into a corner and is unraveling in real time. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.